Hey there, and welcome to That's a Wrap. This is the show where I go over the games, comics, movies, TV, and general content and entertainment that I have consumed for the month of January 2022. And first up for this month are the games I finished. So I finished only 2 games this month, nothing really substantial. I know some months I'm tearing through games, and other months, there's other things in your life going on, especially now. Work has been kind of going crazy for me, so I've been a little bit busy with that. But I did manage to finish 2. First on, in the very beginning of the year, on January 2nd, I finished the Gunk. This was a Game Pass game that I finished up. One little, resolution you could call it, that I gave myself this year was to actually finish more games on other platforms that weren't just the PlayStation, because I really did kind of pigeonhole myself last year with only playing or mainly playing games that were on the PlayStation platform. And this month I didn't finish any PlayStation games. So first up was the Gunk. It was a really interesting, platformer is the best way to put it. Platformer mixed with cleaner simulator, something along the lines of, not really Viscera Cleanup Crew, because that's a little too much of a cleaning thing, and this is more so cleaning the environment. So a la Mario Sunshine, something like that. But it had a lot of charm. I saw a lot of reviews saying, it was kind of short and didn't really deliver on what it was trying to do. But I kind of disagree. As I've gotten a little bit older and had less and less time to actually spend with games, I appreciate a short and concise game. This one especially was able to present its message. At times, it would beat you over the head with it, of a civilization regretting the decisions of basically destroying the environment in order to pursue self-gain, more or less. So it did kind of beat you over the head with that whole metaphor and the whole message, but I still appreciated it, and it was still a cute and fun story in the end, along with the whole message of making the environment happy and creating a healthy world. You also had this, not necessarily an inner battle, but a relationship battle between the main character Ronnie and, I'm assuming, their partner. Both partner in business and I think partner in life. At least I'm kind of dense with that stuff sometimes. So, but I'm assuming it was her partner, and it was really neat. It was a really cute story about them getting upset with each other and then finding that hey, you need each other in the end. So it was a fun time. I think my favorite part was honestly cleaning up the gunk. There was really something super satisfying about taking Ronnie's big mechanical arm and just inhaling all of this black goo and purifying the environment. Because every time you cleared a whole section of the goo, the environment would blossom back to life and plants would be there and the animals would be happy. So it was a really cool and cute little 8-hour-ish experience. Maybe it might have even been shorter. It might have been 6 hours. I don't quite remember. But it was fun, and since it was on Game Pass, hey, no huge monetary investment, only a little bit of my time. But I think this is really fun and really cute, and I think it's something that if you're into shorter games that aren't necessarily super challenging, but do have a fun story and a cool premise, I think you would enjoy this one. So go ahead and give a check out to the Gunk. And second game I finished this month was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I love Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. It's interesting because I really did fall out of love with Pokemon after this generation, because from Black and White, which came after this, up until basically Sword and Shield, I hardly touched a Pokemon game. No, that's wrong. I did play Let's Go Pikachu, which came out before Sword and Shield, but pre-Switch, post post Pokemon Platinum, I didn't really play any of those games. So there's a huge section of my Pokemon love that I totally missed. It was one of those cases where I was like, oh, I'm in high school now, not really my thing. I'm like, Pokemon's dumb. And it definitely, that sentiment was held amongst my people in my school. So it wasn't really something that you shared openly that you liked Pokemon. So I kind of rode that train and hated on it. But this game, I did play. I did play this originally, Diamond and Platinum. I played both of them back in the day. And the remake definitely holds up, but almost to a fault, where it feels like you're just playing that old game. Sure, they've updated the graphics, and the chibi art style is not everyone's thing. I thought it was pretty cute, and I did like it. But the battle mechanics are all the same. The big overhaul was definitely the underground, as well as, I believe, the trading, the global room, trading, training, trading and battling, all that. I think that may be different. I'm not 100% certain. It might be the same. I didn't actually use any of those features back in the DS. But definitely the underground was totally overhauled, and it's actually kind of cool. It was a fun experience running around. I didn't use it too much only up until the end of the game, when I went to go try and find a Garchomp to try and beat Cynthia, because for anyone who doesn't know, Cynthia is the final hurdle, basically, of the game, the final challenger you have to face, and she's just a pain. She's so difficult, especially going at her with a team like I had, which I'm not going to spoil too much, and I don't want to let too much of my opinions on this game be known, just because I am going to do a video with my brother about this game, do another cleanup crew. It's been a little while since I've done one of those videos, but man, it was really fun to go back and visit this. It was the only game I was playing. I really had a hard time playing anything else other than this, so Pokemon did a great job of grabbing me and pulling me in again. It's really interesting how easy Game Freak can design a game that just grabs you and it won't let go. So if you like Pokemon, you'll like this. Much like some of the other games that people have complaints about, a little hand-holdy, but at the end of the day, it's still Pokemon, it's still fun, and you kind of know what you're going to expect. So, next up are the comics I read. Mostly manga. Actually, no, you know what? No more comics than manga this month. I only read one manga, and that was, surprise, surprise, drum roll, it was One Piece. Seems to be my consistent manga, with a random sprinkling of Yu Yu Hakusho or whatever else in there. But I read One Piece. I think I finished. Again, reading it through the Shonen Jump app, I kind of have a hard time keeping up with what volumes I'm finishing. But I believe I finished volumes 67 and 68, and that was between chapters 660 and 680. So not too many chapters read this month, only 20. But we still have our characters on Punk Hazard. Everyone's there. Everyone's reunited. We did run into a situation where bodies were swapped, and it was kind of a Freaky Friday scenario. Really interesting arc. I don't know if I love it or if I hate it or if it's just okay. It's kind of mid, honestly. It's fine, but I am still having a good time with it. It is cool to see our characters finally in the new world and starting to make a push. Sure, Punk Hazard is, as I think, kind of like a side arc in a way. It's slowly introducing a few, what I think are going to be future villains. One I know for sure, because he's been around forever, Doflamingo. I know he was kind of name dropped again, and I think they're building to him being the big bad. And I'm assuming in a few chapters we're probably going to really get into that character. But yeah, I'm loving it. It's fun. It's One Piece. It's something that I regret not reading sooner. I was always a Naruto kid growing up, and I stuck with that. And then finally, a year or two ago, I read all of Bleach. Loved it. Don't know why I never went. Don't know why back in my heyday of reading manga I never read it. But hey, you know what? Never too late to pick up any of these. So One Piece it is. And as for the standard comics, I read volumes 3 and volumes 4 of The Witcher. The series continues to get better and better. I looked it up and I didn't realize that it's basically the release schedule of this series, because I'm reading the bound up volumes where it's 5 or 6 issues per one volume, and I didn't realize that it's basically one volume a year is what it works out to be, which, hey, it's kind of cool. But with volumes 3 and volumes 4, I have 5 and 6 remaining, and I believe 6 just came out in 2021. So, meaning the original issue releases along with the volume release. So I'm thinking we may get a volume 7 this year. I don't know if there's talks about new chapters or not, but I would really like to see it because I've been enjoying it. Volume 3 was kind of an interesting one. I didn't love it as much as Volume 4, but Volume 3 was introduced Ciri and had her going around trying to prove something and trying to be strong and and trying to show Geralt and Yennefer that she can do her own thing, that she is strong and she's able to take down all these beasts, and you know, she gets hurt in the process, and it also does a bit of a time jump thing where Geralt is fighting a Strigan, I think it is, and it's kind of bizarre. I didn't really like. I don't really care much for stories that tend to jump around a lot, and Witcher Season 1 is really guilty of that, where it jumps around in the timeline a lot. And so far in Season 2, I haven't finished Season 2 yet, but so far in Season 2, it seems to be more of a cohesive linear story, and I much prefer a linear story. But I don't know, it was still cool to see this volume, but not my favorite. But Volume 4, on the other hand, really cool. Put Geralt in a whole new land. Dandelion, of course, ended up getting him there and getting him mixed up with a lot of stuff. And it was really fun. I don't want to spoil too much, but you see, I don't remember if it was a Jinn or if it was something else. It's been a little while since I finished these, because I finished these early on in the month, January 9th and 12th for Volumes 3 and 4, respectively. But it was cool to see Geralt in like a deserty environment, and I don't remember where in Geralt's world this actually is. Darn. Oh well. But yeah, really fun. I'm really looking forward to wrapping up Volume 5 and Volume 6. Maybe I'll read that in February. Who knows? Maybe I'll just read all One Piece. I have plenty of chapters to go, so. And next up are the movies I watched. So I watched 4 movies this year. Gonna kind of rattle them off a little bit and give a little bit of a blurb. Don't want to spend too long on them. But I watched The French Dispatch. Finished that on January 7th. Really fun. Wes Anderson movies are always a blast. This one was a little weird. I didn't really care for this one as much as I had his other movies. Of course, Fantastic Mr. Fox is up there. The Royal Tenenbaums, which I'm usually ho-hum on, but it's still a pretty fun movie. Yeah, he just makes great movies and really wonderful looking movies, especially compared to his earlier works, where symmetry is always a thing, and that's of course not lost here. Wonderful colors, really symmetrical and just pretty, and interesting storytelling. I did enjoy it, but it was definitely a weird film. I guess that's really all I can say about it. Then, the next day, on January 8th, I watched Encanto. So this was the new Disney animated movie. Caught it on Disney+. Just cute, fun, family flick. I loved the singing. It was really happy and colorful and looked super nice. I watched it on my Apple TV, so I had 4K option. It just looked really good. Not really too much to say. I'm not super into all of the Disney flicks. I'm not a Disney nut by any means, but this was a really fun one, and I'd imagine it probably has a huge meaning to anyone who is either Hispanic or I think specifically Colombian. If I remember, I think it took place in Colombia. I could be wrong, but yeah, really fun. Go check it out on Disney+. And then the day after that, January 9th, I didn't realize I watched so many movies back to back. I went to go see The Kingsman in theaters. This was the newest film in the Kingsman saga, I guess you could call it. The first one still being the best. Kingsman still the best. I would say this one's probably right after that, and then Kingsman 2 is after that. You know, the one thing that these movies all do great, action. It's super fun. They're over the top, really great camera work, really great choreography, and every hit feels super visceral and weighty and punchy. But this movie had issues with pacing. I thought there was numerous times when I was watching, I was like, okay, oh, here's the end. Okay, no, here's the end. And I'm like, okay, surely this is the end. Someone died. Huge important character. They're gonna wrap it up somehow. No, there's still an hour left. Okay, what the? So it just kept going, and it was only a 2-hour movie. I think maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5. I don't remember. But it no joke felt like a 3-hour movie. So I think this movie's biggest fault is that it was just kind of boring, which sucks because it sucks to hear that a Kingsman movie is boring, but it just wasn't amazing. I like I said, the action scenes when they happened, tense, really cool. Particularly one Russian character. Don't want to give anything away, but if you know anything about the movie, you can probably guess who it is. That scene was awesome. And then there was a big battle scene, and that was awesome. A very tense, quiet fight scene, which was even more amazing. But like those moments in between, it was just kind of dull. A lot of exposition, a lot of getting characters to do certain things to move the plot along to get to the next action piece. So I don't know. I just feel like John Wick is the best when it comes to, and it should be the poster child for action movies nowadays. And if this movie can learn from John Wick and just make it all action, but balanced with moments of quiet that let you breathe, but don't let you breathe for too long, I think they could make a better sequel at some point. So I don't know. We'll see. That's just my thoughts on it. Still fun though. And then finally, on January 21st, I saw the anime Belle. This was a little out of left field for me. I kind of was like, I want to go see a movie. What's playing? This anime. Originally, I got tickets to see the dub, but for some reason I got tickets to go see the subtitled version, but the dub played, and I didn't really care because I don't really care about the subs or dubs debate. I just wanted to see a subtitled movie. So it was a little jarring at first, but it was a really well done English dub, so I couldn't complain too much. This is essentially a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I didn't really know that going into it. My brother kind of made it sound like that was the case, but I didn't really see until what he meant until the actual Beast showed up. I thought this was going to be a Ready Player One kind of scenario, where a girl joins an online virtual world, like a online VR kind of thing, and makes a new life, and you just kind of went along the ride with her. But it ended up being a really deep story of, again, a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it was neat to see the VR elements, or the augmented reality elements, or whatever you want to call them, added in, where there's certain characters who have sponsorships, and those sponsorships get pulled away from them when they end up being kind of shitty. And it was a really cool and very beautiful film, and the score was incredible also. And it's definitely a film that I think I love this kind of scenario where I don't know anything going into it, and then when I do see it, I'm like, oh shit, that was really good. Those are always the best movie going experiences, where you're like, yeah, let's just go see a movie, and then you see it and you're like, that was amazing, that was really good. So yeah, not too much of a fan of Beauty and the Beast, and especially so a retelling of a story. I prefer original stories, usually 99% of the time, but this was still really fun. And then rounding out the content that I consumed this month are the TV shows. So I finished 2 TV seasons this month, and that was Nathan For You Season 3 on January 11th. My girlfriend and I have been watching this, and both of us really like it, but I think we both kind of agree we're probably not going to continue. Mainly because it's getting to the point where it's so uncomfortable almost. The final season of episode 3, or the final episode of season 3 rather, was just I don't want to call it a train wreck, because that kind of does a disservice to the show, but it's an emotional train wreck. It just made you feel high and low, and you're just like, oh my god, it just won't stop. And just the secondhand embarrassment is just, I think both of us are feeling too much secondhand embarrassment and just feeling too weird from watching it that we can't finish it. Maybe someday we'll go back and finish season 4, which is the final season. But as a whole, this season definitely did ramp up the shenanigans that Nathan causes people by trying to go help save their business. That's the whole shtick of this show, he gives suggestions to people to help improve their lives, improve their business, and most of the time they're just outlandish things that people agree with because they're on camera, and you get to see how that plays out. So yeah, I think the biggest standout moments was, like I said, the end of season 3, the last episode. He assumes the life of some guy and goes on a date with a woman, and does this whole tightrope walking thing for charity, all while assuming this guy's identity. And it doesn't sound embarrassing, but just in the context of the show, it's super uncomfortable because he just does such a great job of playing an awkward guy. And I think the other one that really stood out to me, I was like, holy fuck, how did they do this, was the hotel room sex box, basically. So if you want to have sex with your partner and you have a kid in the room with you, you just stick them in this soundproof box, and they don't hear anything. And they tested it by bringing a bunch of porn actors to simulate a scenario. So yeah, it was a little weird. And again, like, you just sit there on the couch like, oh my god, is it done? So like I said, I don't know if we'll continue with it, but it was fun while it lasted. And then on January 22nd, I finished the show Super Crooks, which was an anime inspired by a comic of the same name. I'd never heard of this comic. I probably won't go read it now. Maybe I will. I don't know. It was a really cool concept. It was essentially a story about supervillains in a world of superheroes and supervillains, people with superpowers. And it was, to me, the basic premise was to show humanity behind superheroes and supervillains, and to show how shitty superheroes can be and how awful they can be, and how sympathetic supervillains can be sometimes, and how at the end of the day, people are people, regardless of powers and regardless of their hand that was dealt in life, basically, or their need to be a villain, or whatever it works out to be. I mean, the first episode of the season, the main character wants to be a superhero and tries to show off his powers, newly discovered powers, by going to the pool and promptly electrocuting everyone in the pool by mistake. So setting the tone of the show is really well done in episode 1, and I had a blast with this show. It took me a little while to finish it because I kind of fell off a little bit and tried to hop back on, and I'm glad I stuck with it because it is really, really fun. And the opening credits, or opening theme song, is a real groove, and I had a really fun time listening to that each and every time. So if you're into anime and into superheroes, I think this might be up your alley, and you should do yourself a service and check it out. Alrighty, so with all of the entertainment I consumed out of the way for January, let's look forward to February. In particular, the games that are coming out. So, first up on February 1st, we have Life is Strange Remastered Collection, coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and Stadia. On January 4th, we have Dying Light 2 Stay Human, coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems, as well as Maglam Lord, coming to Nintendo Switch and PS4. On February 8th, Ollie Ollie World is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. And as well, Sifu is coming to Windows, PS4, and PS5. So Sifu seems really interesting. I'm going to probably pick that up when it's on sale, though. I want to support an indie, but I also just don't know if it's quite a game for me to buy at full price. But it definitely looks interesting. The whole mechanic of aging after you get defeated to only then come back stronger as a more honed warrior fighter. It just seems super intriguing to me, and I'm ready and I'm really excited to see what it looks like, because I've been trying to avoid like trailers and things, but I think once the game releases, I'll go watch some gameplay on YouTube or something to see if it's something I'd be interested in. And then on February 10th, we have Crossfire X coming to Xbox One and the Xbox Series systems, and then a whole boatload of Kingdom Hearts coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think it's pretty much, I think it's everything. We have Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix, and Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8, not Remix, what is it called? Prologue, Final Chapter or something. I think it's on the screen. In my notes, it's wrong. Bunch of Kingdom Hearts coming to Nintendo Switch. If you haven't experienced Kingdom Hearts, what you doing? They're great. They're really fun. I've played almost all of them. I haven't played 3. I know. I'm guilty. I gotta go back and play it at some point. But yeah, they're great. You know, story may be all over the place and a little confusing, but at least the combat's fun. Then you get to see Donald and Goofy. That's kind of cool too. Then on February 11th, Lost Ark is coming to Windows. On February 15th, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. And Star Wars The Old Republic Legacy of the Sith is coming to Windows. On February 17th, we've got Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection coming to Nintendo Switch. I love the Ezio Collection, just finished it last year. Nothing better than playing some Ezio. I have a feeling this could potentially get re-released over the years. Don't think it will be the next Skyrim by any means, but definitely a fun trilogy you should go check out. And then we have The King of Fighters 15 coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, and the Xbox Series systems. Token Ranbu Warriors, don't know what this is, coming to Windows and Nintendo Switch. And then finally, Total War Warhammer 3 coming to Windows, Mac, and Linux. Love to see it. On February 18th, knew no one else was going up against this. Got Horizon Forbidden West coming to PS4 and PS5. I'm guilty. Haven't finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Slowly working on it. I'm getting there. I still have a lot to go, but I'm slowly making my way through it. Maybe I'll go back to it this month in anticipation for the new Horizon game. February 22nd brings us Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, which is coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, and the Xbox Series systems. Monarch, which is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PS5. And then finally, Sol Cresta is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, and PS4. And then on February 24th, we have Assetto Corsa Competizione is coming to PS5 and the Xbox Series systems. And then we have Chaos Child and Chaos Head Noah coming to Nintendo Switch. I'll put down good money that those are visual novels. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. And then we have Crystar? I'm gonna say Crystar coming to Nintendo Switch. And then, according to my list that I get from Wikipedia, finally on February 25th, we have, here we go, Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemist of Mysterious Dream. There was more to it. Coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, and PS4. And then the big release of the month, arguably, I say arguably, is Elden Ring. Finally, coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. I'm guilty. I have not played all of the FromSoft games. I haven't finished Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3. But I have finished Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2. But I also haven't finished their last game that came out. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know why. Off the top of my head, I can't remember it. But I haven't finished that one either. So 2 out of 5? Not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. But Elden Ring looks like it's probably going to be added to that list, at least for a little while. At some point, I'll get around to it. Probably. And then finally, last game of the month, Grid Legends is coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. Now, there are a few games in a TBD list, or to be announced list on that Wikipedia page. I just normally don't cover those, so if you are at all interested in seeing any more games that don't, of this moment, have a release date, go check out the wiki page and they'll be there. So there we are. That wraps up the first month of 2022. Did you guys play anything fun? Watch anything entertaining or funny? Did you read anything compelling or cool? Let me know. Are there any games that you're excited for? Did you play anything fun this month? Let me know as well in the comments down below. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.